Hello and welcome back to our channel. In this video, we'll be taking a closer look at the history of Pakistan's economic crisis. Pakistan has been facing economic challenges for several decades, with issues ranging from poor infrastructure, political instability, and lack of investment in education and healthcare. In the early years of independence, Pakistan's economy was heavily reliant on agriculture. However, this began to change in the 1960s when the country's first five-year plan was introduced. This plan aimed to industrialize the country and reduce reliance on agriculture. However, this plan failed to deliver significant results, and Pakistan's economy continued to struggle. In the 1970s, Pakistan's economy was heavily dependent on oil imports to meet its energy needs. The global oil crisis of 1973, which saw a significant increase in the price of oil, had a severe impact on the country's economy. The increase in the price of oil led to a rise in the cost of production and transportation, which in turn resulted in high inflation. This situation was compounded by the fact that the government had been pursuing expansionary fiscal and monetary policies, which had led to an increase in the money supply and further fueled inflation. As a result of the inflationary pressures, the balance of payments position of the country deteriorated rapidly. Pakistan was importing more goods and services than it was exporting, leading to a drain on its foreign exchange reserves. The government tried to address the situation by devaluing the currency, but this only exacerbated the problem by increasing the cost of imports and adding to inflation. In the 1980s, Pakistan's economy faced another major challenge in the form of the Soviet-Afghan War. Pakistan, which was located next to Afghanistan, became a frontline state in the war and received massive aid from the United States and other Western countries to support the Afghan resistance. However, this aid came in the form of loans, which added to the country's external debt burden. The country's external debt rose from $2.5 billion in 1980 to $18.4 billion in 1990, which was equivalent to 55% of its GDP. The debt servicing obligations on these loans put a severe strain on the country's finances and made it difficult to allocate resources towards development projects. This, in turn, had a negative impact on the country's economic growth. The global oil crisis of the 1970s and the Afghan War of the 1980s had a severe impact on Pakistan's economy. The high inflation and balance of payments crisis of the 1970s were followed by a heavy external debt burden in the 1980s, which put a severe strain on the country's finances and made it difficult to allocate resources towards development projects. During the 1990s, Pakistan's economy continued to face significant challenges. Political instability and poor governance were major factors that contributed to a decline in investment and economic growth. The country went through a period of political turbulence during the 1990s, with frequent changes in government and power struggles between the political elite. This instability resulted in a lack of continuity in economic policies, which made it difficult for businesses to plan and invest. Moreover, during this time, there was a significant decline in the quality of governance in the country. Corruption, nepotism, and inefficiency became widespread, which led to a decline in the credibility of the government and the effectiveness of public institutions. This, in turn, discouraged investment, as investors were wary of the risks associated with doing business in an environment where there was little certainty and transparency. In addition to these challenges, Pakistan faced international sanctions due to its nuclear program. In 1990, the United States imposed sanctions on Pakistan under the Pressler Amendment, which prohibited the U.S. government from providing economic or military aid to Pakistan. This had a significant impact on the economy, as Pakistan had been heavily dependent on U.S. aid in the past. The sanctions also made it difficult for Pakistan to access international markets and investment. The economic downturn during the 1990s was reflected in Pakistan's low economic growth rates, high inflation, and rising levels of poverty. The government was unable to address these challenges effectively, and as a result, the country experienced a significant decline in its economic and social indicators. Pakistan's economy faced significant challenges during the 1990s, including political instability, poor governance, and international sanctions. These factors contributed to a decline in investment and economic growth, which had a negative impact on the country's social and economic development. In the early 2000s, Pakistan's economy showed some signs of improvement, with increased investment in infrastructure and the service sector. However, these gains were short-lived, and the country was hit hard by the global financial crisis of 2008. In recent years, Pakistan's economy has been struggling once again, and there are several factors that have contributed to this. One of the most significant challenges facing the country is a lack of investment in human development. Pakistan has a large and growing population, but the education and healthcare systems have been inadequate to meet the needs of the people. The lack of investment in education and healthcare has resulted in a large portion of the population being unable to access basic services, which has had negative impacts on their health and economic well-being. Another major challenge facing Pakistan's economy is poor governance. Corruption, nepotism, and inefficiency have become entrenched in the government and public institutions, which has hindered economic growth and development. This has resulted in a lack of transparency and accountability, which has discouraged investment and made it difficult for businesses to operate. Political instability is also a significant factor that has contributed to Pakistan's economic struggles. Frequent changes in government and power struggles between political parties have resulted in a lack of continuity in economic policies, which has made it difficult for businesses to plan and invest. Moreover, the security situation in the country has also been a significant challenge, as terrorist attacks and other forms of violence have deterred investment and made it difficult for businesses to operate. In addition to these challenges, Pakistan has also faced external pressures that have contributed to its economic struggles. The country has a large external debt burden, and servicing this debt has put a significant strain on the economy. Moreover, the country has faced challenges in accessing international markets and investment due to its reputation for political instability and poor governance. Pakistan's economy has been struggling in recent years due to a lack of investment in human development, poor governance, and political instability. These factors have hindered economic growth and development, and the country will need to address these challenges to achieve sustained economic growth and improve the well-being of its people. Pakistan is a country located in South Asia that faces a number of economic, social, and political challenges. Despite these challenges, there are several reasons for optimism regarding Pakistan's future as an economic powerhouse in the region. Firstly, Pakistan has a large and growing population, which is currently estimated to be around 225 million people. This means that there is a large domestic market for goods and services, which can help to drive economic growth. Additionally, Pakistan's population is relatively young, with a median age of around 23 years, which means that there is a large and growing workforce that can support economic growth. Secondly, Pakistan has a strategic location, which can make it a hub for trade and investment in the region. Pakistan shares borders with several important countries, including India, China, and Iran, which can facilitate trade and investment. Additionally, Pakistan has access to the Arabian Sea, which can provide access to markets in the Middle East and beyond. Thirdly, Pakistan has a rich cultural heritage, which can be a source of economic growth in the form of tourism and cultural industries. Pakistan is home to a number of UNESCO World Heritage Sites, such as the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro and the Lahore Fort, which can attract tourists from around the world. Additionally, Pakistan has a rich tradition of arts and crafts, such as pottery, textiles, and jewelry, which can be developed into thriving cultural industries. However, in order to become an economic powerhouse in the region, Pakistan will need to implement the right policies and invest in key sectors of the economy. This will require addressing some of the country's key challenges, such as improving infrastructure, reducing corruption, and increasing access to education and healthcare. Additionally, Pakistan will need to focus on developing key sectors of the economy, such as agriculture, manufacturing, and services, and attracting foreign investment. In conclusion, while Pakistan faces several challenges, there are reasons for optimism regarding its future as an economic powerhouse in the region. With the right policies and investment, Pakistan can leverage its large and growing population, strategic location, and rich cultural heritage to become a major player in the global economy. So that's a brief overview of the history of Pakistan's economic crisis. We hope you found this video informative. If you did, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative content.